What's good, everybody? This is Ryan McKee, and this is The New Perspective. This channel intention is to bring awareness and enlightenment to the unseen, tackling the real issues, breaking through mental barriers to discover, unlock, and understand your true propensity, to create passion that will spark desire to build from the inside out. Now, as you know, mental health is on the rise, whether it's through childhood trauma, toxic ways. I know when I was going through my series of depression, I didn't have anyone to support or understand or even educate me on the right way of dealing with it. And I think we as a community, we can help each other heal. And I think healing is needed in our community. And it's up to us to make a difference. So, with that being said, I hope that this channel can alleviate some of that pain. I hope that I can touch and change lives through this channel. Because at the end of the day, it should all be nothing but peace and love. So let the healing start today. Hey everybody, this is Ryan. Welcome to A New Perspective. Today we will be talking about learning. We'll be talking about, just different ways of learning and, how we communicate with each other, how we interact with each other. I think is very important, only because our messages may be, we might have missed messages sometimes. Our body language don't match our words and so on and so forth. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, the first way of learning that we'll be talking about would be visual. Now, these are the type of people that, they need to see an example. Like me, for example. If you're asking me about a topic or a discussion or anything that involves me, something in front of a screen, I have to see it in order to help you. I'm sorry. That's just me. I have to see what you're talking about. I can't, most of the time, just pick up on it and just go in at it. Okay? Then you have kinesthetic learners. They are the practical, energetic. They dive right in. They are typically hands-on, and they learn by failing. When they failing, they strive to get better. That's the go-getter. They are mostly the like I said, the hands-on type people. They're the type of people who just they just gonna get the job done. They just gonna grind it out until they figure it out. They'll most likely be good at nursing or anything mechanical or anything of that nature. Then you have auditory learners. These are the people who can, they can translate what they heard into images and they create an image within their head. You could tell them and they get a vivid picture in their head of what you're talking about. These are the type of people you could talk to, and they could kind of memorize by hearing what's going on, or for example, a picture of a rapper, or someone who memorized by repetition. These are the type of people who if they're a student in college, they can listen to the professor's lecture over and over again. That's the best way they learn. Then you have stress learners. These are the people who are motivated by stress. The last minute learners. When you're in college and you're cramming and you're procrastinating to the last minute. These are the people who, for some reason, they just like the pressure, and then they'll get it done in an effective manner. So, and then on the opposite side of that, you have the ease learners. These are the learners that, they find things that comfort them in their learning, whether it's music, whether it's, anything that makes them common to learn something. That's what they're motivated by. The opposite of stress learners. Then you have the readers and the writers, learners. They prefer to learn through written words, writings, reading articles and books. These are the type of people, as far as history, as far as facts, theories, just stuff like that, articles. These are the type of people who learn that way. Now, why is it important to learn different learning styles, or how people learn differently? Well, because you have to understand that it helps you identify the strengths and the weakness of a person, and to better teach and educate them, as well as you teaching and educating yourself. Because how you do things is not how somebody else do things. They might learn it better in a different way. You might be an auditory learner. That person might be a visual learner. So when you know these things, you could better teach and you could better learn from one another, and we could just support each other in our differences. Now, we're gonna talk about something that I guess people talk about, but a lot of people ignore, and that's tone and pitch. Now, we all heard the saying, "It's not what you say, it's how you say it," which to an extent it is true, depending on who you are, depending on your audience. Now, according to research done by Dr. Albert Mehrabian, I think I'm pronouncing it right, don't quote me on it, 70% of communication is verbal, 95% is nonverbal. He also concluded that 55% is through facial expressions, gestures, and posture, and 38% is tone of voice. So, with that being said, a lot of what we say is not it's not coming out of our mouth. So, for example, right now, if I'm just like, I'm happy, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to believe me, because my posture is dippy and I just look uninterested, and my whole everything about me says no, you're not happy. So that's very important to know, because a lot of people always say, well, I didn't say that, I didn't mean it that way, but your body's saying something different. Your gestures, your posture, all that is saying something different. Your tone, everything. So your tone affects your mood and emotions. Most of us aren't aware of our tone. Even coming off as sarcastic or critical can have a negative impact in communication. I definitely have a problem with this, because sometimes I may come off sarcastic. I don't mean to be. Sometimes I just, as is how I am, but it could come off and it has a negative impact, rather than to have, a common delivery in your tone of voice. You could be, the person will be more receptive to the information. I actually tried this experiment. One time I tried to, instead of being sarcastic, like I'm always am for the most part, I'm not perfect. I'm learning as well. So I try to come off sarcastic, and instead I just directly did it in a calmly tone, and I got a positive outcome. And I was just like, all right, well, that was different. And normally I just be sarcastic if I feel as though, it happens. So, pitch is the highness and the lowness of a tone. And why is this important? This is important because it displays emphasis and confidence or lack thereof. Now, when you're speaking, remember, tone reflects your mood and your emotions. So, if you have a pitch that's okay, if you're talking in this tone, but you say a word in this pitch, it will give it more emphasis. If you say in a monotone, it sounds almost serious. But if you put it in a low tone, sometimes it might show lack of confidence. So you kind of gotta match the tone with the pitch as well, with your words, with your phrases, how you express yourself. You don't have to always talk with your hands. Sometimes I talk with my hands. Everybody don't do it. You don't have to. You talk with your words. But when you express yourself, you want to make sure that tone matches that pitch, depending on the word, depending on the phrase, however you use it, because it could come off of, well, why you say it like that? Or, I don't understand what you mean by that. Now, here's the thing. It's not always 100% accurate, because people are going to take things how they're going to take things. But for the majority, it works. For the majority, it's effective. So you want to be aware of your tone and your pitch of voice. Like I said, they go hand in hand. Okay? So, prime example. It was an honor to meet you. As opposed to, it was an honor to meet you. You see what I'm saying? Both serious, both in monotone. Emphasis on honor, pitch on honor. Put more emphasis. It gives it more credit. You see what I'm saying? See how I use the word honor, and I didn't just say it. I said it with emphasis and a high pitch, monotone. So it all depends how you use it. You can be monotone, you can be high pitch, whatever, however you do it. But you have to know that not only do your word hold weight, but the way you say it hold weight as well. So here's another thing that I want to talk about: patience in communication. Now, patience in communication is very important because, and I know I had this problem before, whereas though used to have high anxiety, so I'll be so excited to talk, and not that I'm not listening. And that's another myth. When people are excited to talk, don't assume that they just not listening. Sometimes it might be the case, but don't assume that they're not listening. Just assume they probably just very energetic. Who knows? Anxiety, whatever. But when you do this, whether it's intentional or not intentional, it kind of makes people not even want to talk because you're interjecting, and not only that, you stopping their thought process. You're stopping their creativity or what they're trying to say, and they might, So you kind of want to be aware of the patience in communication. You want to take pauses in between your words, your phrases. You want to take your time when you talk. You don't want to talk too fast. That might come off, talking too fast, you kind of, he a little nervous. He's a little off. Like, you kind of talk kind of slower or whatever. Like, you're in control of the conversation. You're in control of your words. You're in control of them thoughts. You talk kind of, too slow. It's almost like you're thinking too much. You're putting too much energy into it. So, when it comes to patience and communication, patience is very key. You have to know when to speak, how to speak, listen to respond, not to always react, So, let's talk about, kind of just did talk about that speed with, displaying nervousness when you talk real fast, when you talk like this. And people trying to figure out why you, speeding up, kind of come off as nervousness. You may not be nervous. It might be anxiety, but anxiety is part of nervousness. You might not be like, I'm not nervous, I'm very confident. But it's not always how you feel. It's always about what is received. Okay, so, with that being said, I want to talk about delivery. Now, delivery, I would say, should be clear and concise, using the right words with the right amount of tone, pitch, and in a clear voice. Now, delivery is very important, is because your message. See, sometimes your message just gotta get there, right? You don't want to be too wordy. It's another problem I had an issue with. You don't want to say too much because it throws off the message. You want it concise to the point where though the person gets what you're saying. Have a nice day. Straight to the point. Bam, right in your face. Not, what you do? I mean, like when you put in different variables into a clear message, it becomes distorted, and that's why you may have a lot of misunderstandings. Like what you say, what you mean by that, or what you you leave more room for questioning. You want your message clear and concise, only because you want that person to respond in a clear and concise manner. That's the part of communication. You have the person who's talking, the receiver, and the message. They all have to be clear. So, like I said, it come with patience, it come with tone, it come with pitch. A lot of this stuff matters, especially when it comes to delivery. Now, with audience, you have to know who you're talking to, and you have to know, and you have to say things for the audience so they understand what you're talking about. Just because you understand what you're talking about doesn't mean your audience always understand what you're talking about in a way that you may explain it. You might explain it in a way that this group may understand it, but that group may not understand it. So you have to be clear in who your audience is, their needs and their learning style as a receiver, and also when your audience give you feedback, you have to understand and take the feedback that comes with it, because you just gotta deliver clear messages, and you have to know your audience. That come with tone, that come with pitch, that come with just how you speak, your message. Is it clear? Is it concise? Does it get to the point? Is it all over the place? They watch it. They watch that. Whether it's public speaking, whether it's one-on-one, whether anything. You want to be aware of your audience. You want to be aware of your audience learning style. It's very important when it comes to speaking. I used to always say, okay, so you're not only responsible for the message, but you're responsible for how you come off to the audience as well. You want to be, aware of, how you come off. Is it aggressive? Is it conservative? Are you attacking your audience? You want to be aware of these things. That's when it comes down to intentions and missed messages. Now, this is tricky because sometimes, people don't know your intentions on how you speak. People don't know. Sometimes you can't even spell it out for them. Some people don't know. So you kind of got to make that message clear so that people can feel your intentions. And, I used to always say I'm not responsible for how other people feel, which is necessarily true. But however, you are responsible for having clear messages and intentions. You want to, like, how can I say this? So, you are responsible for how your messages get out there, right? You're not responsible for how people feel. Like I said, you can have a clear message and you can know your audience, but, for some reason, they might take it a different way. They might have a different mood at the time. They might have different emotions at the time. So, when it comes to that, it changes. It varies. It varies as well, because it's like, a lot of stuff isn't accurate, but it would give you more close to accurate results when you do your research or your studies on just communicating with that person, with that audience, or how they may receive things and the state of mind that they in. These things matter. I might say something in a common tone, in a nice pitch, using the words and stuff, but the person might mentally be somewhere else where they cannot receive that. Now, what does that say? Does that say that I didn't deliver the message clearly? No. Does that say I didn't use the right tone, the pitch, or I didn't say it in a nice way? No. It could just be they may be going through things. So, what I kind of like to do is I kind of like to let people calm down first before I talk to them. If they're in that mood, I like to let them calm down. I'm going to tell you why. Because anger allows you to go and say things that you may not mean to say, or it might put you in a mindset where as though you like, look, they ain't gonna work right now because I'm emotional about something. You need to understand that, and if you don't understand that because I didn't explain it to you, that's not my fault. You should just read that or something like that. Sometimes people would like for you to play psychic. They do. They some people are not upfront about their feelings or their mental space. But once again, you're not responsible for anyone's feelings. So if you practice, the tone, the pitch, and the delivery and all that, just keep doing it. You're not, if you don't get a positive response, a positive result, check the mental space of that person. Check to see if they in the right space to receive that information. Because that may have been what it might be. It might not all the time be you. So you can't take everything too personally. You just take a step back and see, assess the situation the way you need to and see what's really going on. It's very important. Like I said, communication is very, very important nowadays because sometimes we don't know how we come off. Sometimes we don't know what we say. Sometimes we can be sarcastic, critical, and but the understanding part needs to be there. That's the biggest problem that we have today. Not just in our communities in America, in the whole world. Communication, understanding, the two main problems. So, missed messages. That's when your words don't match your actions, or your nonverbal don't match your verbal. You say one thing, do another. Like I kind of did with the happy face and stuff. So these things are very important in today's time, only because I think we cannot properly heal, and we cannot properly understand, and we can't properly talk to each other until we know where we're coming from. How we communicate, why are we communicating, are we clear, things like that. We need that, going into business, relationships, any of this stuff. We need to understand how we communicate with each other, and that way we could better have we can have better dialogue. We can have better understanding of each other. It won't be as much tension or as much whatever, So that is that concludes today's topic on learning and ways of learning, as well as communications. So until next time, love, peace, and harmony. Hey everybody, this is Ryan McKee from A New Perspective. If you like my content, like, comment, and subscribe. Share, tell a friend, and tell a friend. I'm going to be dropping episodes every Monday between 7 8 p.m. So, stay tuned. Also, follow me on Facebook as Ryan Accomplice McKee. And you can follow me on Instagram at ace_McKee. Once again, I'm going to be dropping episodes every Monday, 7 to 8 p.m. So like, comment, and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend, and share. Love, peace, and harmony, y'all.